I always wanted a German car. Ever since I was a kid, I was fascinated by their sleek designs and the promise of power and precision they held. I would see them on the streets, gliding effortlessly, and imagine myself behind the wheel, feeling the smooth leather and hearing the gentle hum of the engine. Sleek, powerful, a symbol of engineering. These cars weren't just vehicles, they were masterpieces of craftsmanship, each one a testament to human ingenuity and the pursuit of perfection. The emblem alone spoke volumes, a badge of honor that signified excellence and prestige. Growing up, it felt like a faraway dream, a dream shared by many in my community, a symbol of upward mobility, of having arrived. It wasn't just about owning a car, it was about what the car represented: success, achievement, and the realization of aspirations that seemed almost unattainable. So, when I finally landed a good job, I promised myself I'd finally get one. Used, of course, but mine. The idea of owning a brand new German car was still out of reach, but a pre-owned one was within the realm of possibility. I could almost taste the victory. I scoured online listings, spending hours comparing models, mileage, and prices. Each night I would sit at my desk, meticulously analyzing every detail, trying to find the perfect balance between affordability and quality. It became an obsession, a nightly ritual that brought me closer to my dream. I finally found it, a certified pre-owned beauty with low mileage and a price that didn't make my stomach churn. It was everything I had hoped for and more. The moment I saw it, I knew it was the one. The car that would finally make my dream a reality. I took it for a spin, the engine purring like a contented cat. The feeling was indescribable. Every turn of the wheel, every press of the pedal, it was as if the car was an extension of myself. I felt a sense of freedom and exhilaration that I had never experienced before. This was it, my ticket to the big leagues. I felt like I had finally made it, that all my hard work and perseverance had paid off. The car was more than just a mode of transportation. It was a symbol of my journey, a testament to my determination and resilience. Little did I know, this dream car would soon turn into a recurring nightmare, a constant drain on my wallet, and a crash course in the harsh realities of used car ownership. The initial joy and pride were quickly overshadowed by the mounting repair bills and the endless trips to the mechanic. It was a sobering reminder that sometimes dreams come with a hefty price tag. The first few months were pure bliss. I cruised down the street, music blasting, feeling like I was on top of the world. The envy in the eyes of other drivers, the admiring glances from pedestrians. It was intoxicating. I took it everywhere, to work, to the grocery store, even on weekend trips to see family. This wasn't just a car. It was freedom, status, and a symbol of my hard work. I diligently followed the maintenance schedule, taking it for regular oil changes and checkups. Everything seemed perfect, the car running smoothly, my dream intact. Then came the first sign of trouble. It was a crisp morning, the kind that makes you feel alive and ready to take on the world. But as I approached my car, I couldn't shake off a sense of unease. One morning, as I started the car, I noticed something unusual. The engine hesitated for a split second before roaring to life. It was subtle, but enough to catch my attention. A plume of bluish smoke billowed from the exhaust pipe. My heart sank. The smoke was thick and ominous, swirling in the cold air like a bad omen. I knew this wasn't normal. I called a mechanic, my voice trembling with a fear I couldn't quite place. The phone felt heavy in my hand, and each ring seemed to last an eternity. When he finally answered, I could barely get the words out. The mechanic, a greasy but friendly guy, diagnosed it as a minor oil leak, a common issue, he assured me. He explained that it was nothing to worry about, just a small fix. His words were comforting, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. A few $100s later, the car was back in my possession, seemingly as good as new. I drove it around the block, testing it, listening for any unusual sounds. Everything seemed fine, but the memory of that smoke lingered in my mind. I tried to brush it off as a one-time thing. The price you pay for owning a high-performance machine. After all, these cars are known for their quirks and occasional issues. I convinced myself that it was just part of the experience. But deep down, a seed of doubt had been planted. Every time I started the car, I found myself holding my breath, waiting for that plume of smoke to reappear. It was a small thing, but it gnawed at me, a constant reminder that something might be wrong. That seed of doubt quickly blossomed into full-blown anxiety as the car began to unravel faster than a cheap suit. The check engine light became a permanent fixture on the dashboard, glowing ominously like a warning sign. It was always something. One day, it was the alternator, the next the water pump, then the oxygen sensor. Each visit to the mechanic felt like a punch to the gut, draining my savings and testing my sanity. What was supposed to be a symbol of pride had become a source of constant stress, a money pit on four wheels that I couldn't seem to escape. Just one more thing. The worst part was the feeling that I was being taken advantage of. Every visit to the mechanic felt like a battle I was destined to lose. I would walk in with a simple issue, hoping for a straightforward solution, but it never turned out that way. Mechanics, sensing my lack of knowledge, would often inflate the repairs, adding on unnecessary services or charging exorbitant prices. They'd use jargon and technical terms, making it sound like my car was on the brink of collapse. It was overwhelming and confusing. "Just one more thing," they'd say with a knowing smirk, pointing to some obscure part under the hood that needed immediate attention. It was always something I had never heard of, something that sounded critical but was probably insignificant. I'd nod dumbly, feeling like a sheep being led to the slaughter. I felt trapped, unable to argue or question their expertise. My lack of knowledge was a weapon they wielded against me, and I was defenseless. This wasn't just about the money anymore. It was about respect, or rather, the lack thereof. Each visit chipped away at my confidence and self-worth. I began to dread these trips, knowing I'd leave feeling humiliated and poorer. The feeling of being dismissed, talked down to and taken advantage of because of the color of my skin, because of the car I drove. It was a bitter pill to swallow. It wasn't just about the repairs. It was about the underlying prejudice and the systemic issues that allowed such behavior to thrive. I longed for a day when I could walk into a mechanic shop and be treated with the respect and honesty every customer deserves. Section 6. The tax of not knowing. I soon realized that this wasn't just my problem. It was a shared experience among many Black Americans. This feeling of being easy targets for unscrupulous mechanics and shady businesses. We often lack the generational knowledge, the passed-down wisdom of car maintenance that our white counterparts might have. We become easy prey, subject to what I call the tax of not knowing, the extra cost we pay for not being in the know. It's a burden we carry, a constant reminder of the systemic inequalities that permeate even the seemingly mundane aspects of our lives. Section 7. A wrench in the system. This isn't about bashing all mechanics. There are plenty of honest, hardworking ones out there. This is about a system that often preys on the vulnerable, that perpetuates a cycle of mistrust and exploitation. It's about the need for greater transparency, for fair pricing, and for mechanics who see us not as walking wallets, but as customers deserving of respect and honest service. It's about empowering ourselves with knowledge, with the ability to advocate for ourselves and demand better. Section 8. The price of the ride. Eventually, I had to face reality. I sold the car, cutting my losses and swallowing the bitter pill of defeat. It was a humbling experience, a stark reminder that sometimes our dreams come with hidden costs. But more than the financial toll, it was the emotional impact that stayed with me. The feeling of being cheated, of being less than, of not belonging. It left an invisible scar. It made me question the true cost of our aspirations, the price we pay for chasing a dream that can quickly turn into a nightmare. Section 9. Drive smart, not broke. My advice to anyone considering buying a used car, especially a luxury one, do your research. Learn about common issues, get a pre-purchase inspection from a trusted mechanic, and don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't let the allure of status cloud your judgment. Sometimes the cost of owning a dream car isn't just financial. It's emotional, psychological, and even societal. Drive smart, not broke. Remember, true freedom comes not from the car you drive, but from the choices you make.